Hey guys, welcome back. Another episode of Unpopular Opinions in Pokemon. Again, the thread was created by Sakari. His link is in the description for his YouTube channel. Go give that a subscribe, maybe a thumbs up or two. But let's get back into Unpopular Opinions from efour. The thread that never dies. Starting off here with BK 2021. I don't know if that stands for Black Knight or Burger King. But they say, since they had a best of black and white or X and Y, can't remember, set that just was stuffed with full/alternate arts for no reason but to bring them over, they should do so again with all the left out cards from Tag Team All-Stars and any others lost along the way. I agree. I think a lot of those should have been in Champion's Path, but the Pokemon Company does some weird things at times. And instead of shortcutting a Charizard to be earlier than it should have been, they could have put those cards in there instead. But I guess we did get a couple of the tag teams, the gold tag teams, as what was kind of like a cool Walmart and GameStop exclusive. So I don't mind them as long as they're going to come out eventually. But we missed out on a lot of really cool stuff, like the red, blue, and green alternate full art trainers. I don't know if we'll ever get those, but I would definitely be happy to get those in some sort of collection box or something of the sort, because they were really, really cool. Collector says Giratina altered form is much cooler than Giratina origin form. Yeah. Okay, I'm on board with that. I mean, I'm not really a Giratina enthusiast, but so maybe I don't really have an opinion on it, whether it's popular or not. I'm not sure. There aren't too many people that are really debating that, so I don't know if it totally qualifies as an unpopular opinion, other than the fact that it's like an unlikely opinion. Shining PKM says, I do think that the Crystal Charizard looks kind of weird when I saw it the first time. People hate Crystal Charizard. I don't know. I like the crystals. I think they're nice. And I don't really have anything against Crystal Charizard. I'm not the biggest Charizard enthusiast. I do have them all for my binders, or will have them all for my binders. So, Kurt Blake Infini says, Watsy is underrated. I don't know if this is supposed to be a troll comment. I'm assuming it is. I would say Watsy is definitely not underrated, but maybe it's an unpopular opinion for that reason. Thyme says Vending series is overrated. There are some great arts in there, but the majority is not even better than the average card from base Jungle Fossil if you compare it to other promo sets or other non-set releases from Japanese Golden Era. The difference is incredible. So I would say that it doesn't compete with Versus in my opinion, but I'm also a fan of when there's like trainers or gym leaders on the cards themselves associated with the Pokemon. So in that aspect, I think I prefer the Versus stuff a little bit more than Vending series. But Vending series in general, I think is cool, mostly for us English collectors, because if there are artworks that we haven't seen and that don't pop up very often, like the first time you see the Vending series cards or the non-English cards that didn't come over, it's pretty exciting. It's like a new set that came out, but it didn't. It's an older set. Lavender Gengar says the pre-Nintendo sets purely on artwork as an evaluation criteria are Neo Destiny, Aquapolis Skyridge Versus, and the Vending series. So I don't know if he's missing a word here, like best pre-Nintendo sets. Again, you kind of have to consider the times and what the requirements were for a Pokemon card with the really early stuff like your base set, your Rocket Fossil. It's basically just the Pokemon on a card. The backgrounds didn't matter as much, and I think that's largely why I prefer modern to vintage in terms of artwork only. Of course, these older sets, there's a history there. Them being the first sets, they're desirable for a different reason. 90s Mayo says Out of all modern sets, modern being anything that's counted in expanded, the black and white sets had the best regular holo foil patterns / designs. Sword and Shield is okay, but I feel like vertical lines are less dynamic intense. So I was just about to say, I don't know if you've noticed, but Sword and Shield is pretty much the same holo pattern, just if you just go vertical instead of horizontal. I'm not really a fan of either. There's certain artworks that it works really well with. I'm not a huge advocate for any particular holo foil pattern. Like, I don't care if it has swirly whirlies in it. But I do like artworks that work with holo, that have the extra effort put in, where certain stuff is holo, certain stuff isn't holo. And again, nighttime stuff with lightning, like every Zapdos card pretty much in existence, or anything that's underwater that's holo tends to be like top tier in my books of holo artworks. Suzu says, crystals are hella ugly. Again, I don't know what's going on here. The crystal hate. I know there's a lot of people that hated on primes, and now they became like a good thing. When I picked up the majority of my primes, they were like $3 a piece or something like that. Just no one liked them. Same with level X's. Other than the odd stuff that was like really playable, or desired Pokemon, most of the level X's and primes were dirt cheap. But now, I don't know. People kind of, over time, they get over it. But maybe some people just really hate certain cards. I like the crystals. I like the idea. I like the shinings. I like the crystals. I like the gold stars. I think the level X's are just kind of like a better version of the primes, in my opinion, just the way that the artwork is laid out. But it's all subjective, and I still like all of them. Pokemon Central says Pokemon McDonald singles are over expensive. I guess overpriced. With the modern stuff, they definitely were, and probably still are to an extent. For the longest time, people didn't give a crap about the McDonald's singles. But I don't know. Some of the older ones are a little bit hard to find, at least in good shape. I probably mentioned this on the channel a couple times already, but there's one of the collection buys that I purchased, and there was a McDonald's card, and it had an indent from where the child that had the Happy Meal decided that his Happy Meal was not filling enough, and so he left a dental impression on the card itself. And so I thought that was kind of interesting and something to come across. You could see like the teeth marks in the card, which is pretty funny. I just thought to myself, like, how ridiculous was this? And how did it end up in a collection after that? I don't know if it actually belonged to the original owner of the collection or if they just like picked it up somewhere else, but funny nonetheless. Ganosha says YouTube and other social media channels are ruining a whole generation of collectors and damage the hobby for the young kids getting to age of understanding Pokemon. So I kind of largely disagreed with this for the most part. We'll go into the other info here. Been cracking packs recently with my nephews, and unlike myself, at their age 6 to 10, they do stupid card shuffle trick for every damn pack. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially if you have very few packs. If you really want to do the pack trick, go to town. I can't be bothered. I think it's a waste of time. I'm still going to look through all the cards anyway. I still like the slow roll when the set first comes out, and there's a lot of artworks that I haven't really had a good look at. But in terms of like doing pack tricks and stuff like that, I think it's just a waste of time. I'm still going to look at all the cards anyway. Check out the color of the code card to ruin their expectations from the get-go. Oh, this is a bad pack because it has a green code card. So I think they should change that. Maybe make it a little bit less obvious. Like the border on the current code cards, it's such a pain because like sometimes they're front ways, sometimes they're back ways. And if you accidentally see it, it sucks. Once you know that, you kind of can't undo it. So I feel like more discrete code cards that they can tell them apart if that's what they need when they're assembling them at the factory. But at the same time, make them so that they're not like glaringly obvious. So when you first look at the pack, you know if it's good or bad. There's certain sets that it doesn't matter, and sometimes they mess up the code cards and they put the wrong ones in the wrong packs. But for the most part, yeah, they can definitely spoil a pack. They have zero thrill of just opening a pack and hitting a gem in the middle of the pack. Yeah, but I mean, that's just like, you open the packs how you want to open the packs. It's the same thing that I tell everyone, even if they're opening on the channel here. If you want to slow roll, if you want to open them a certain way, if you want to be like my brother and open the pack upside down, I might judge you, but that's on you. That's your pack. You enjoy it the way that you enjoy it best. Add on the most annoying slang and phrases these influencers have made up to fill their video length, to hit ad revenue, and cracking pack with them just isn't as fun as cracking cases upon cases with friends in mid-2000s just searching for the rares and holos. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like a new age thing. Sure, it wasn't around, but it doesn't mean that it's necessarily ruining the collectors or anything like that. I'm sure they're very aware that they can open it however they want to. If not, then just make them aware of that. You don't have to guess the energy or pat yourself or whatever the hell you do. You don't have to pack trick if you don't want to. But however you see fit, if they're your packs, if you're opening them, do what you got to do to get the most enjoyment out of it yourself. If you want to spoil it for yourself, then by all means go to town. But the option is there. Not all that glitters says the Pokemon card back is boring. It could really use some unique one-off art styles to spice things up. Maybe a unique card back per set, or only for secret rares / promo cards, etc. Just something other than the same Pokeball drawing since 1999. So I kind of respect the fact that they didn't change it. And it's probably largely to do with, like, in the beginning, they wanted to, when people were playing with the cards, and they didn't necessarily have sleeves, or they didn't have solid back sleeves that hide the back of the card, then you could, you're not going to be able to tell which card is which outside of like damage or whatever. I did see there was a kid at the local game store in recent years who he was just barebacking his cards, no sleeves, and so I guess it helps him, and in a way, if he wants to shuffle his cards with no sleeves on them, then he can without having like the different card backs. And really, how much attention are you paying to the card back? Is it really that important? I think it'd be cool if they did something per set with the energies to make them more exciting. Whether you have certain Pokemon on there, kind of like the Heart Gold, Soul Silver stuff, certain designs, something to do with the set itself. That would be cool. And like having a set number for each set of energies. That way it's I mean, you're going to get all the energies anyway if you open a decent amount, but at the same time, it'd be cool to have like a commemorative set of energies per set, and something cool and different to see. The card back's not really a thing. I do like when they change the borders and stuff like that too, like E-Series and everything else, where they have slight tweaks and changes to the cards to give them an identity, even if it's per generation or whatever. That stuff is pretty cool to see. Vexport says VMAX Climax is shaping up to be the best Pokemon set yet. Yeah, maybe. Cerulean was going to post this in the BDSP thread, but figured it would be better off here. Sinnoh is such a garbage region. There is little to no variety in the regional decks. Many of the new Gen 4 Pokemon are just additions to evolutionary lines that already existed. You can't even get some of the new Pokemon until late in the game or post-game. There's one freaking fire type in the wild, a boring Bonita, and you spend much of your time running into Kanto Pokemon, many of which are the maddening trade evolutions. Abergastly, Geodude, and Machop are all in the decks. Easily the worst region of all time, in my opinion. I can't even remember what I did to get a fire Pokemon. I don't think it was a Ponyta, though. I can't remember. But maybe I just didn't get a fire Pokemon. It wasn't even that long ago, guys. I'm losing it. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe you're mad about the trade evolutions because you have terrible friends like me. I didn't get the Nintendo Online, so when Blasty and I were doing our playthrough on Twitch, he was like, "Oh man, get it, and you can trade me so I can evolve my guys." And I was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna bother." So either you don't have friends, or maybe your friends are terrible friends like I am. But yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe they could have spread the Pokemon out a little bit better, but I don't know if that would necessarily make it the worst region of all time. And I think I kind of like the evolutionary lines that kind of got added on, whether it's baby Pokemon or a final evolution. I think that's kind of neat. Also, at that point, they're probably like, okay, we got to dial it back a little bit, guys. We're adding too many Pokemon here. Pretty soon, we'll be over 1,000. And here we are today. Fizzy Adrenaline says, the Dragon Ball Super cards are insanely better designed and way cooler than their Pokemon counterparts, except for the new alt arts. So maybe you just like full art trainers or full art cards. I think pretty much everything Dragon Ball Super is like a full art Pokemon card, essentially. So if that's your thing, or maybe you just like Dragon Ball more than you like Pokemon, then by all means. I can't imagine having... they're basically like mega Pokemon, mega EXs. If an entire set of Pokemon cards was mega EXs, then it would be Dragon Ball Super. 90s Mayo. I feel like the character rares for VMAX Climax are kind of lackluster so far compared to the Cosmic Eclipse's character rares. I don't really think so. I do like the Cosmic Eclipse ones. I like character rares in general, and I think the more of them, the better. I was extremely disappointed when they didn't continue after Cosmic Eclipse, so really glad that they're coming back now. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're lackluster. There's some pretty cool ones. A lot of them are like mid-battle, and I think some people pointed out examples in the thread itself. Cerulean, shiny hunting is silly, and I will never understand how people spend hours hunting for a shiny when their stats are no different aside from Gen 2, when shiny Pokemon had higher IVs, and they typically don't even look as good as their normal colored variants. I don't know. It's like the thrill of the hunt. When you finally get it, it's like a huge relief. By no means would I sit there every day, all day, shiny hunting, but I did in Sword and Shield shiny hunt some of my favorites, which, I don't know. I think it's cool to have like a really rare, different colored version. Fizzy Adrenaline says, having 1 million secret rares every set has lost all meaning of being a secret rare. Yeah, I'd kind of agree. A lot of them I don't even think you would necessarily consider a secret rare. It's just like an alternate version of the card. And then with alternate art now and everything else, it's probably at the point where they could just include them in the set numbers. That way it would make it easier for us binder boys and binder girls to know what kind of binder or binders we need for the set itself. I guess we still wouldn't, because then we'd have the reverses and then the variants and stuff like that. So SM Pratt says, Pokemon isn't just made for kids anymore. Gotta agree. Sometimes people forget that. Other times, people love to use the argument like it's just a kid's game. Why are you taking it so seriously or anything like that? It's not just for kids. If you look at the amount of cards that you need for a set, the amount of product that you need to open, anything of the sort, how expensive and how rare certain cards are, it's pretty obvious that the target audience is not solely kids. I mean, it's still probably largely exciting and made for kids to an extent, but at the same time, I can only imagine when we were kids, we only got like a pack or two a piece if we went to the store. So collecting something like a Fusion Strike as a child, not all that viable. Although even with the amount of packs that we had, even completing like the base set Rocket Fossil, we had a lot of it, but we didn't have complete sets. And we never ended up even with like some of the holos, like the Charizard. Not All That Glitters says, if every single Pokemon card tanked 95% of value and stayed there for 10 years, you wouldn't like your Pokemon card collection as much as you do now, which makes you start to wonder. I would still collect. I would still try to piece together my sets. The stuff that's in my binder, it's going to stay there anyway. So if it drops in value, I'd have to adjust. I'd probably be buying more, actually. But in terms of like buying, selling, whatever, so certain stuff dropped 95%. It's probably not even worth selling at that point. There's a lot of stuff that's not necessarily worth listing on eBay and stuff, just because by the time you pay for fees and shipping, there's not really any incentive. Jisco says the English version of Misty's Tears is better than the banned Japanese version. So there's a lot of people that really like the banned cards, whether it's Misty or the Grimer upskirt. There's a certain like edge factor to those cards, and it's neat that we got a different version. And I think in the case with Misty's Tears, the English version is definitely a better artwork. And it's kind of surprising that, I don't know if this was done specifically for this, or if there was another version already. They might have been like, hey, Ken, we need another Misty with tears, but we need it to be more appropriate. So can you get a Squirtle giving her a cheek wipe? And that's probably how it was born. Don't quote me on that, but I would imagine that's something like what happened at the time. Collector says, I have no idea why people think criminals only make fakes of expensive Pokemon cards. I see that sentiment repeated often. I have seen fake boxes of Jungle Fossil, Crystal Guardians, Holon Phantoms, Majestic Dawn, Legends Awakened, Stormfront, and other sets when the real boxes were sub 200. I bought fake Jungle Packs from a big chain toy store in 2002 that contained Gym Hero stickers. So it's weird that you go about it like big chain toy store, unless it was like a local. You're saying it's a chain toy store, so like there's no way they should have those on the shelves. But maybe. Trust me, fake product is as old as Pokemon itself, and the threshold of profit required is very, very low. So a lot of these are going to be like your Chinese bootleg stuff that comes out when the same time as the sets come out, and maybe it's left over that you run into it these days. But the large portion of like criminals or whatever you want to call them that are currently making fakes are making the most expensive stuff first, because it's expensive to print off even fake stuff. So if they're doing it, they got to do it for profit. They're not printing 20-cent commons, but if it's like the Chinese stuff that's trying to imitate the product as it comes out, yes, you'll end up with some of that stuff, some of the cheaper cards that are bootleg. Not all that glitters says, if character rares and full art trainers become the new standard chase cards in future sets, it will kill the collectability of Pokemon cards. I gotta disagree with that. There's nothing wrong with character rares. I would love more character rares every set, all sets. I want to see, my dream is like a gym challenge and gym heroes type set, but modern and with like character rares instead. So it'll be like Brock's Geodude, but it's like Brock with his Geodude and in a character rare form. That'd be pretty sick. Not necessarily direct reprints of what's in Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge, but something similar like that. It can be different gym leaders. There's lots of others that didn't get that gym treatment, which would be really, really cool. Or even if they did it for the upcoming generation that's coming out in, was it coming out next year or this year, at the end of the year? Sometime soon. I say this as someone who loves people/humans on Pokemon cards, but if people/humans become the reason to collect Pokemon cards, it's not a good thing long term. How's that for Unpopular? So, I mean, if it's a human and a Pokemon on it, it's a Pokemon trainer. I really like the anime. I like the games. So seeing those characters with the Pokemon is a cool thing for me. Don't get me wrong. I love that when the Pokemon's on the card itself. But especially the character rares that are coming out where they're like in battle and they got the trainer there and like the Pokemon is like coming towards you and doing an attack. That's badass. And it's I think it's a good thing. Last but not least, we have Collector, and I think this one was pretty edge-tastic. He says, the worst thing by far about the Pokemon hobby are the people in it. Pokemon is the most commercial hobby I have, and it shows. And generally, the more time I spend interacting with other people in the space, the more my interest is diminished and or tinged with distaste. So it sounds like you just hate people. The only fun way of receiving cards is by pulling them, hoarding singles, and sorting by condition. If the sellers haven't done that already, i.e. almost never, is a decent second best option. Booster boxes are the only fun items to buy. As long as the box is legitimate, you're good to go. Nothing and nobody else to deal with. No third-party RNG or any other bullshit. So I don't know. I like the mixed products better. If they're the same price or they're close to it, I'm gonna buy Build and Battles, and I'm gonna buy 3 packs, and I'm gonna buy, I don't know what else, all the other promo packs and crap like that. I'd much rather have those than a booster box, but maybe that's just me. Booster box is kind of good if you're only opening 36 packs. The booster box has a little bit of a safety net built in, but the pull rates are the same with a large enough sample size of any other product. People don't want to hear that, but they are. It's much more fun to open packs alone than together with others. So I heavily disagree on that last one. There's nothing more fun than opening Pokemon cards with other people. Way more fun than sitting there by yourself and opening them out. But maybe you're just opening packs with the wrong people. Maybe you hate people. It's hard to say, but this is might win here for unpopular opinions, because this is like the opposite of what I like. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Join the Discord. See you next time. Make sure to leave some comments on this thread on efour, and they'll be featured in a future video. Almost certainly, as long as it's not trolling, or I try to cut out all the replies and stuff like that. But thanks for tuning in. See you next time.